So Dusan Lajovic and Denis Shapovalov, they're facing off in the first round of the Madrid Masters. Now the Madrid Masters is a tournament that is a Madrid 1000, as we all know it. It's a clay court tournament, and it's held in Spain, which is the hometown of Rafa Nadal. So let's just see what will happen here. So let's start with Lajovic's results this year. So Lajovic has had the greatest year, especially on the clay court season, where he's known to be his best. Because this year, aside from a fourth round appearance at the Australian Open where he lost to Zverev, he hasn't really done so well, especially in the clay court season. In Monte Carlo, where he was the finalist last on 2019, he lost to Evans in the first round, which made his ranking plummet down. And in Serbia, in his hometown, he lost to the Bonus in 3 sets. So he hasn't had the best of results this year. So it remains to be seen what he can do, and maybe that can he turn it around here in Madrid, because he is known for his clay court prowess. So can he maybe have a turnaround in Madrid? That question remains to be seen. Now Shapovalov this year, he has had some good results this year. He did do well in Dubai, although that was on the hard court. But in Dubai this year, he did well. He reached the semi-final, but he would have been disappointed because he did lose to a qualifier. Lost to Harris in 3 sets. In the third set tiebreak, so he would have been disappointed because it was a qualifier and he was playing pretty well before that. But aside from that, he hasn't also had the best of years, especially on the hard courts as well. And in Barcelona, where he competed on his first clay court tournament, he lost to Auger-Aliassime in straight sets, 2-6, 3-6. And then in Portugal, in the Estoril Open, he lost to Mute in 3 sets. So he hasn't really had the best clay court season. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen with him. Will he be able to turn his clay court season around? But he does face a tricky opponent, even if his opponent is not in his best form. Lajovic is always a tricky opponent, especially on the clay. So let's see their head-to-heads. Their head-to-head record, they haven't met at all. So their head-to-head record is 0-0. So this is actually a really tough match to call because both players aren't in the best of form. Both of them are kind of struggling for form at the moment, especially on the clay courts. But I'm going to side with Shapovalov in 3 sets, just simply because I think he can win this match here. I think that he has had some decent results on the clay in the past, and while Lajovic had as well, I think Shapovalov is in a tad better form than Lajovic is. This one is a really tough match. It really could go either way because both players are kind of struggling for form at the moment. But I'm going to side with Shapovalov barely because I think he has had a couple tough draws. FA is a good player that he lost to, and Mute is also a good player. So I think he's a tad better than Lajovic at the moment. So I'm going to side with Shapovalov to win this in 3 sets. So Shapovalov in 3 is my pick for this match. So Martin Fucsovics and Alexander Bublik, they're facing off in the first round of the Madrid Open. So let's start with Fucsovics result. Let's get right to it. So Fucsovics this year, he's had some really good results. He's been in really good form so far. In Rotterdam, he made the final. He lost to Rublev, and in Doha, he lost to Rublev. Although he had to withdraw from that match, but he did still have some good wins along the way. Even though he withdrew, he beat Harris, and who had just been in Wawrinka, and he beat Lajovic. So he had some good wins. In Dubai, he also lost to Rublev. In Miami, he lost to Rublev as well. So he has had some tough draws that prevented him from going as far as he wanted, he might have desired. He did have some tough draws, but he is playing really well. And as far as clay courts go, as far as him taking part in the clay court season, he's only played 1 clay court tournament and he lost to Sonego. So his form is kind of unknown on the clay courts. Because last year he did do well. He sent Medvedev in the first round. on the clay. So his form right now isn't really the best still on the clay. So we'll see what will happen. Well, his form is good, but his clay court form is yet to be. We don't really know his clay court form yet. He's only played one match on it. Now let's go to Bublik now. So Bublik has played way more clay court tournaments than Fucsovics has. He's participated in 3 clay court tournaments. In Monte Carlo, he lost to Shardy in the first round. In Barcelona, he won a match against Davidovich Fokina, but he lost to Diminor in straight sets in the second round. And in the Estoril Open, he lost to Martinez, and he was handed a bagel in that match. So not a good sign. Not a good sign for Bublik there, especially because he's not so good. He has said time and time again that he hates the clay, that he hates clay courts. He said that he doesn't like it, and because he has had good results, especially on the hard courts, but on the clay courts, I guess he just hasn't had the best results on the clay courts. Now let's look at their head-to-head. So their head-to-head match, they've only played one match officially, and Bublik won that one 6-4, 7-5. That was in 2020, but they did play some challenger level matches. So in 2017, they played on an indoor hard court. Fucsovics won that one in 3 sets. And in 2017 on the clay court, Bublik won that one in 3 sets. So Bublik leads 2-1 if you count the challenger level matches. This match is an extremely tough one to call because Fucsovics only played one match, and Bublik said that he hates clay. But I'm gonna side with Bublik to win this in 3 sets because I think that Bublik has had more practice on the surface than Fucsovics has. Fucsovics has only played one match, while Bublik has played a bunch more matches on the clay. And plus, Bublik did win a clay court meeting, even though it wasn't official. He did win a clay court meeting that they had in 2017. So I think that Bublik can pull this off. So I'm going to pick Bublik to barely win this in 3 sets because I think that he's had more practice on the clay, and I think that he's shown enough on this surface in the past that I can trust him to do well. So I'm going to pick Bublik in 3 sets for this match. So Alex de Minaur and Menard, they're facing off in the first round of the Madrid Open. Now, let's go through de Minaur's results. So de Minaur hasn't been in the best of form this year, even on hard court. He hasn't really won that many matches. He lost in the first round of Miami. In Dubai, he lost in the first round. In Rotterdam, he only won one match. He lost in the second round. And on the clay, he hasn't been at his best either. Although he did see some, he won against Bublik in the Barcelona Open and lost Tsitsipas in straight sets. But he did keep that match close with Tsitsipas. So maybe there's some signs of improvement from him in that match, and we'll see whether maybe he can apply it against Menard. And he's going to need it because Menard is a player that is really good on the clay courts. Right? De Minaur isn't really good on the clay, but Menard as a player actually is really good on the clay. So he's going to have to bring his best level if he wants to beat Menard here. Now, Menard, he has had some great results, especially on the clay courts, because he's had a bunch of practice. He's taken part in a lot of clay court challengers. He's done a lot at the challenger level. He has won a lot of matches there. He also did well in Argentina. He made it through the qualifiers, made the quarterfinals, lost to Schwartzman, but it was a good run. And in the Andalusia Open, in the inaugural edition of the new tournament that was made, the Andalusia Open, he managed to make the final, lost to Carreño Busta in 3 sets, but he gave him a challenge, and he also, had a good run. He beat good players. He beat Fognini, he beat Alcaraz, so there were some good players that he beat. So he is in good form. He's not in bad form, especially because he's had a lot of practice on the clay. So we'll see what he can do here against de Minaur, and he'll take confidence because de Minaur isn't the best clay court player. And it's a little surprising because the de Minaur style, you would think that it would actually be good on the clay because his style is a lot more counter-punching, but in reality it actually isn't so good on the clay because he's actually not so good on the clay. So it's a little bit shocking, but let's get on to their head-to-head. Now, their head-to-head, they've met once. It was in the officially, that was actually at the Next Gen ATP Finals back in 2018. So, and Alex de Minaur won that one in 5 sets. It was in the no ad scoring. It was a modified scoreline. He won it 3-4, 4-1, 4-1, 3-4, 4-2. It was no ad scoring. It was a modified scoring method. And then they met in 2 challenger or 2 unofficial matches. They were both in finals, by the way. And in 2017 in Spain on the hard court, Minaur won that one 6-3, 6-4. And in Spain on the clay court, Minaur won that one 7-6, 7-5. So they haven't met in a long time. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to win this because they haven't met in some time now. Now, this match, I'm going to pick Minaur to win this one in straight sets because I think that Minaur is better on the clay than de Minaur. I think that he's better than de Minaur on the clay. He also has had more practice on the clay while de Minaur hasn't had as much practice. So I think that Minaur can get this match in straight sets. I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'll be more of like a tight 2-set match. But I think that Minaur is going to win this one. So my pick is Minaur in straight sets. So Minaur in straight sets is my pick for this match here.